whenever I talk to people about sort of niching down to something very narrow, then that's when fear comes up, and thinking, well, if I really sort of hone down and niche down to something that is quite small, that is going to eliminate all the other people that are in the marketplace that are my potential clients and customers. So they think they're cutting themselves off at the knees in terms of being able to get business. This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nik Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. All right, well, let's launch into our session tonight. I won't introduce the guest speaker because there isn't one. It's me. So the session tonight really is about, well, it's really inspired by seeing what people are doing in business and their marketing, and seeing that often it's an upside down approach to it all. So I've titled it the simple 3-step blueprint to attract the right customers ready to buy without having to sell. It's not to say that sales doesn't happen in your business, but you can make the sales a whole lot easier if people start to ask you how they can become involved with what you're doing, or how they can buy what you've got, rather than you having to convince them. And it really does come down to a process of understanding your business, understanding your marketing, and not starting with marketing first. Many people start with their marketing first. So this has really come out from a number of sessions that I've had with people on their marketing who have really struggled with particularly social media marketing. Who has struggled getting any traction at all with social media? Just give us a bit of a wave or a hands up if you've struggled a bit with social media this year. Either getting traction on it or getting people to respond to it. Yeah, perfect. All right, and part of it is that the algorithm change, and not showing your posts as much unless you're paying for it, and part of it is the way people's businesses are set up and structured as far as the marketing side is concerned. All right, let's bring up our screen. All right, and of course, the particular slideshow I want to bring up hasn't come through. Here we go, this one here. Oh, that tool I was using, by the way, is one called Raindrop. So it's my tool there for bookmarking, which is an exceptional tool, and it's free. Have a look at raindrop.io. All right, let's try and get this onto presentation mode. Excellent. So simple 3-step blueprint to attract the right customers ready to sell, ready to buy without having to sell. All right. So the first thing is that not everybody, but a lot of people I speak to in business that are looking for help really have an upside down approach to their marketing. And what I mean by that is that they are looking, they're generally marketing already. So, and they're generally following some strategy that they've learned. So it could be a Facebook strategy. Probably the most common strategies I see today are on LinkedIn. LinkedIn strategies. And and they are very good strategies. It's just that without the right things in place, then they generally just are not effective. The worst thing that people can do is to spend money on ads without getting all of the fundamentals in place right. Because if you've got organic marketing efforts that are not working, if you start to spend money on ads for the same organic strategies, already just promoting those organic strategies, you're getting no results, organically, then all you're doing with ads is that you are paying to get no results. So, 100 times 0 is still 0. If you get 100 times more people to your website or to whatever it is you're doing, it is still 0. So I've got to get those fundamentals right, first of all. And I spoke with someone recently who's probably spent a good $30,000 with agencies for 3 campaigns with marketing, with very negligible results as well. So this really addresses that, and it's not really the agency's fault. It is that what they do is they do that very well, but they just don't understand the business particularly well. So here's people's view of business. Some people set up business or have been running businesses for a while, and you've probably heard the phrase that there's 8 billion people in the world. Well, it's just clicked over 8 billion people in the world. So we've got a global marketplace, and with all of the tools available to us today, we can pretty much reach most of the globe online. So we do have a global marketplace. So there's all of our customers. So you may have heard the expression that if you try and market to everybody, you end up reaching nobody. So if you've got a global marketplace, 8 billion people here, anyone here can service 8 billion people? I don't think there's any businesses on here that can really service 8 billion people. There are some businesses out there that can do that. I think they're the pharmaceutical businesses and some of the food businesses. But for most of us, that is way too many people for us to be able to do anything with. So first of all, we've got to think about sort of narrowing our view down. Even though we've got a global marketplace, we're not going to be dealing with 8 billion people. So we've got to work out of those 8 billion, which are the people that we are going to be dealing with. So we're only really looking for a small subset of people. So maybe just drop into chat, for your business, how many people would be enough people for you to deal with as customers for you to have a good, viable, sustainable, profitable business? How many people do you think, just numerically? Either drop it in chat or come off mute. Let me know what you think is about the number that you could really sustain in your business. All right, yeah, 50 to 100. Yep. Any advances on 50 to 100? I mean, for some businesses, they can only handle 10 people at a time. So, there are intensive coaching businesses out there. 10 is really the max that they can handle. They might be charging $25,000 to $50,000 a year for the coaching, but to give the attention they need, 10 is just all they need. So they don't need 8 billion, they just need 10. Mate, yeah, 20, yep. So think about your business. How many could you realistically service well at the same time and run a profitable business? I reckon for me it was around about that 50 to 100 in that digital marketing space as well too. So same as Cameron, if you're building websites, working with CRMs, 50 to 100 is about right for that there. Now, if you think about service-based businesses, sort of accountants, bookkeepers, insurance brokers, that end of things there, maybe a book of 200 is pretty good for some of those businesses there. And the other factors that come into is, do you have repeat sales or are they one-off? So like real estate, for instance, they probably need to have a whole lot more people in their book because people are only buying houses once every 5 to 7 years, unless they're buying investment properties. In that case, they might be buying a couple of properties, in that 5 to 7 year period. Most people. So So somehow we've got to cut down the number of people to a manageable amount. And generally, most people are working in a defined locality. I think that's a state in Australia somewhere, not sure quite what that shape is. But so sort of think about your locality. I don't tend to be defined so much by locality, but most of my clients are generally Australian and New Zealand, with a scattering of US and one or two and sort of UK. But you tend to get a concentration in a particular area. So this is what most marketing looks like. So you may have done this as a kid, or you may have done it as an adult. So picked up a magnifying glass and found a leaf on the ground and tried to burn it with a magnifying glass by focusing it in to get a pinprick from the sun there to get it smoking. But most people's marketing is a bit like this. They've got the magnifying glass out, and what they're trying to do is to focus on the entire leaf. So I often see this all the time. People are saying, well, who do you who's your ideal client? Or who's your client? Well, it's everybody. But generally that's not a good answer, because everybody is not your client. In fact, I guarantee there will be some people out there that you don't want to have as clients at all. So, but the elusive thing is when people start in business or within business, it's like they're just trying to scattergun approach to try and get as many people as they possibly can. So what that ends up doing is meaning that their marketing message is fairly generic. It's watered down. There's nothing really punchy in it at all, and it really just doesn't attract people at all. It's just way too general. And this is really what your marketing should be like, or your business should be like. Be that laser focus. You've probably heard the term there of niching down. Is there anyone here niche down to a particular narrow segment in the market, and that's all they deal with? Anyone do that? Yep. So whenever I talk to people about sort of niching down to something very narrow, then that's when fear comes up. And thinking, well, if I really sort of hone down and niche down to something that is quite small, that is going to eliminate all the other people that are in the marketplace that are my potential clients and customers. So they think they're cutting themselves off at the knees in terms of being able to get business. Whereas in fact, the opposite is really true. And I'll show you how that is. So you can see here with a magnifying glass, if you really sort of focus on on one point there, that's where you get the heat generated. That's where the fire starts. And the interesting thing is once you do focus there and you do get the fire started, it quickly spreads to encompass the entire leaf, or if you've got a whole leaf litter there, it'll burn the whole lot. Same thing with your marketing as well too. If you're really laser focused with your marketing, you start to get traction with clients coming through to you. You're making money, and what you find is that you can easily broaden out from a very narrow market, and you can start to capture more and more of the market of people that are in that circle around it that are not directly who you're targeting. So that's where people have got generally their marketing wrong, is they're doing it this way, so trying to capture everybody, whereas you should be trying to eliminate as many people as possible and just really focusing in on one type of person. I'm just looking at, say, on the screen there, looking at Gordon Green, who is in property investment, and I can guarantee you, Gordon, most people are not your clients, are they? So there'll be a whole segment of people that you wouldn't want to deal with, right?
Yeah, I've actually reduced down to just one specific group of people earlier this year, and I've done twice the amount of business I did last year in half the year.
Perfect. So you reduced who you are targeting. You're making more money out of it, and you've reduced the time you're spending on it.
A lot less.
Yeah. Yep. Perfect.
She sounds so sick. She's got it right down in her chest.
Oh, God.
She's honking away.
And the doctor, she left a message for the doctor to ring her, you know, because you can't speak to a doctor over
Hang
there.
on, we might just mute that one there. Excellent. All right, so yeah, in fact, that was not scripted. Perfect example, and of you know, being sort of laser focused does really save a whole lot of time and a whole lot of money in the process, because you're not having to sift through so many people. So here's the framework. You need to find a singular problem. So what's a single problem that people have? And it's got to be a compelling problem. So something keeps that is compelling enough that people want to do something about it, prepared to spend some money on it, and really are motivated to take action with it. So you find that problem, and sometimes these are things that you're interested in as well. Sometimes it's not. You've just noticed something out there, but it's often things that you're interested in. And then go and find an audience or a group of people that it affects. Now, this is one of the things that people get the other way around. They look for the people first, then they try and fit people into a solution that they've got. So that's the wrong way around. You've got to think about the solution that you've got, which meets a specific problem. Then you go and find the people that it's solving the problem for, and that way it's going to make your business model a whole lot easier. And then think about what is your unique offering, and we're going to talk about that unique offering. So if you think about the business that you're in a competitive marketplace, and there's probably a truckload of other people that are doing something reasonably similar to what you're doing. They may not be using the same technology, whatever, but what they're offering, the solutions they're offering, are reasonably similar. So looking at Cameron, for instance, he's in the web development industry. There are so many web developers out there. The bar is so low to get into web development that anyone can set up shop there, and they're charging prices of anywhere from a couple of $100s through to, you know, sort of a couple of $100,000. So it's really sort of quite a range, probably more than that, but it's quite a wide range there. So so the key here is how do you sort of have an offering that's really sort of quite unique. So first of all, what's the problem that you're solving in that? Who are the people that it affects? What's the unique offering? So this is one that I see people get stuck on all the time, particularly in the digital space here, is that, you know, when you build websites, who needs a website? Every business needs a website, right? But the fact is not every business needs a website. So you can really refine it down a bit further there. Then you think about, you know, well, who are you working with? You know, is it startups? Is it existing business? Is it corporate? So all of those have different requirements for websites as well. So you've got to look for, you know, what's a particular problem that people have with that side of things. And they're generally not looking for a website. They're looking for a solution, often that is bringing them in qualified leads that they can convert into clients and customers. That's what they're looking for. Website is just part of that vehicle. So think about, you know, who are the people? What's your unique offering? So this is what I was saying before, is that you need to focus on the problem that you're solving, and then you focus on who are the people that have the problem. Now, sometimes you need to do a bit of the other way around, in the sense that you notice that there are groups of people that have got a specific problem and you've got a solution for it, but you really want to work on you know, the problem itself, and then sort of find groups of people that have got that specific problem that you can solve. So I'm going to give some examples here, really to illustrate how this works. So this first one is a real estate agent. So this is someone that I know, and I know him because he works for me. And he, when he left, he went out to a career as a real estate agent. So what happens when you're a real estate agent is that there's obviously training to do. You join a real estate firm. They give you what they call a farming area. So this farming area is a group of suburbs, you know, in a particular area. Or it's an area that's defined, allocated to you, and all agents have got you know, different farming areas. And your job is to go and get appraisals. And so the way you do that is that you drive out, you drive around the area. You're doing things like letterbox drops. I know they must all do it on a Saturday and a Sunday here. Because every Saturday and Sunday, my letterbox is full of these flyers that come through from real estate agents. They're all DL flyers. They all look the same, and there's no differentiation with them at all. And I think sort of around Christmas time, I'll probably start getting some recipes for muffins and Christmas cakes and that sort of thing. So that seems to be the formula for in the real estate industry. So they've got the farming area to try and get these listings. Now, what Renee did, so his name is Renee, is he spent the first month driving around and getting no results. So when he went to his boss, he said, "Yeah, it takes time. It might take 6 months to really sort of establish your name there, and then you'll start to get some appraisals there." And so he was looking at an on-ramp of about 12 months to be, to even get in the game as a real estate agent. So he said, "Well, that's not for me." So what he decided to do was he said, "I'm not spending all of my time around this whole area. I work in the city. I enjoy the inner city. I'm only going to deal with properties in the inner city area." And so what he did was any listings outside it, he would just give them to his colleagues, and he would, he had some of his colleagues there. He said, "You can go and farm that area. Just give me a referral commission for anyone that you pick up there." But he concentrated and focused in on the city. And so with that there, because he only dealt with the city, he could actually walk the city or catch public transport, no longer needed a car. And he reduced his costs. He also reduced his time, and he became known as someone that dealt with inner city property. So that's like apartments. It wasn't dealing with commercial; it was residential property in the city, which is mainly sort of apartments, some old houses, and he actually started to get some success there. He had some listings, he made some sales, and he was on the board in about I think it was about 4 months. He was really on the board, sort of starting to earn a consistent income, and then he decided that he was going to refine it down again, and he was only going to deal with 2-bedroom inner city apartments. The good thing about that there is that he cut off a whole lot of other properties, and there's only a certain number of apartments that were inner city. He got most of the listings for those properties there for the one reason that is people saw him as the expert in these 2-bedroom inner city apartments. So because he was seen as the expert, when you're going to sell your property, who do you want to go with? A general agent, or do you want to go with sort of someone who's an expert that is probably going to get you a wee bit more money for the sale of the property, and has probably got the buyers on the books as well too? So he had a book of buyers that just used to get referred to him because he just dealt with inner city apartments, and so people that were listing, they also knew his name as well too. And as far as his marketing sort of went, it was a lot easier as well, because he wasn't sort of traipsing around the suburbs looking for people. He was only looking for people in these apartment blocks. So he would deal with body corp managers. He would deal with other real estate agents as well too. So he used to get referrals from other real estate agents. He would sell other real estate agents properties that had listings in the city as well. So he became their best friend as well. And his income doubled when he did that. And then he eventually ended up just dealing with brand new properties. So he decided not to deal with secondhand properties, only dealt with brand new properties. And he would sell off the plan, or if they had been finished, he would sell the last units in these developments. And these were specialist apartments as well too. So they were 2-bedroom apartments, but they were they're basically 2 separate apartments joined together. So the common living area in the middle, but on either side they had a 1-bedroom sort of unit, you call it, with their own kitchen and their own bathroom and toilet. So those are the only ones. There weren't many of them around. There was probably only sort of 3 or 4 buildings that were being built with these sort of apartments, and it was to meet demand for a newer type of investor and renter and people living there. So and just with that one strategy, he only had to deal with 4 or 5 developers. That was it. And now he was not listing single properties. He was getting the entire development. So rather than getting having to go and find 100 properties, he's been presented with sort of 200 properties in a high rise there, which is being built, and he was the agent to sell them all. So a lot easier, and he's only dealing with one person, or the developer or the developers team there. So again, like Gordon had said just before, he's cut down the amount of time that he's spending working these listings. He's only dealing with a very specific number of people, and he's dealing with the buyers only for this apartment. When he's showing them, he's not having to traipse all over town to show these properties. He just turns up to one building and he shows them all at the same time. So he's got his open homes all at the same time. Well, I think with some of those, it was the one that they built there to showcase what was there. So and he got himself to be to earn over $1 million in commissions as a real estate agent with that strategy there. Now, someone asked him, what happens if the bottom falls out of this market? He says, well, I know how to do this now. I'll just move to another type of property, and I'll be able to do the same thing again with another type of property. So can you see with that there, what's happened there is when he's dealing with just the developer of the property, he's not having to worry about all the, where are the people that are buying it. The people that are buying it are wanting this particular type of property, so it's a lot easier for him to go to find them, in that they're searching him out, and they're looking for him. So he's become the expert in this area here. So that's a real estate example. So that's a true story, true example, and that's about niching down. That's super niched in the real estate industry, but by super niching, and he had a fabulous lifestyle as well too. People used to think he didn't work, but in reality, all his work happened in concentrated blocks. So when he's showing through people through properties, he might do that 2 days a week. He's not out hunting for listings because he's already got 200 listings on his books. So now all he's doing is he's waiting for buyers to come in, or he's contacting the buyers that he's got on his book. And he just kept on growing his list, or growing his list of potential buyers and people referring to him. So just made his work so much easier. And he looked like a man of leisure because it didn't look like he was really working at all. And all the other real estate agents were running around, doing their appraisals, doing letterbox drops, and just all of that busy work. Here's another example. I'll use this example here, but there is someone else that just dealt in a specific type of vehicle. So if you think about all the vehicles that are on the market, most auto mechanics deal with a whole range of vehicles. You take your vehicle in for servicing, they'll service whatever you bring into them. But the problem with that is that every day is a different day. They're servicing a different vehicle on a different day. The problems are all different. So what this one auto mechanic did, he says, we're only going to specialize in European cars. So no Chinese, no Korean, no Japanese cars, only European cars. So he went through the same process as that real estate agent, ended up just dealing in Mercedes. So he didn't deal with any other cars, only Mercedes. Here's the interesting side effect that happened with that, is that apart from being seen as the Mercedes specialist, outside the dealers. So if you wanted your Mercedes looked after and really serviced well, you go to this mechanic shop here, because they only deal in Mercedes, and that you're getting sort of experts in this field here. But here's the interesting thing about it. He found that by dealing in just Mercedes, all the engines are the same. Well, they're pretty much the same. They come out of the same factory. The cars are all the same. And so they're not having to learn the engines of Toyotas, of Kias, of Porsches, of GM Motors. So all of that there involves going to research the issues. They've got a whole lot of manuals there. Here, because they've dealt with the issues with Mercedes, they've dealt with the same issue over and over and over again. So they just need to have someone come into the shop, They can hear the noise, or, particular noise in the car. They know exactly what it is. So they can often fix these cars in a fraction of the time an ordinary mechanic can, just because they've got the experience to know what that sound means on the car. So they can work quicker. They don't have to keep learning, so they're only dealing with Mercedes. They don't have to worry about learning all the other systems. They're not investing in so many tech tools. So all of these motor vehicle manufacturers have different tools that you're using for diagnosing cars. Don't have to buy the ones for the Mercedes. So they're able to, just concentrate their efforts with their Mercedes. Now, with all that, their credibility grows, their knowledge grows. They're saving a whole lot of time in servicing and fixing these cars. They've got a reputation. They can charge more, so they can work less. They can charge more because they're seen as the experts. And if you've got a car there that you're looking after yourself and you want to have looked after, then generally, take it to the expert. You're prepared to pay a wee bit more for it. So there's an example with a auto mechanic. There's a lawyer in Brisbane. He's known as the drone lawyer. And in fact, he's written a book about drone law. And it's a fairly new area there, and there are, what do they call them, chief pilots for drones and organisations, and they're the ones that are responsible for the operation of all of the drones and the people that operate them. So, you think about real estate companies, they've got drones there for taking photos of properties. You've got surveying companies using drones. So there are laws that govern all this. And so he's written a book on drone law in Australia. And he is the go-to person for anything to do with regulations and laws around drones. So you think about, if you're an organisation and you're wondering about, so what you can do with your drone and what you can't do, or someone's come and complained because you've been flying a drone over their property, who do you go to? Do you go to your lawyer there that sold you that did all the conveyancing for your house? Or a commercial lawyer, or do you go to the specialist? And so, so this drone lawyer, he picks up all of the business or a lot of the business around these drones, and he has got in fact, you'll find him on LinkedIn. He's got a very active LinkedIn group there for drone chief pilots, and so anything they need to know, this is where he goes. So he wrote the book. He gets the business for drone law in Australia, and so it's a growing area. He doesn't have to go and find his clients and customers; they find him. He's got the Facebook group, so they find him, and they're searching him out. And when you search for him as well too, and searching drone law, he's the one that comes up in there. Whereas if you're searching commercial law, because this falls under commercial law or even aviation law, then you get a whole lot of legal firms that come up. He has really distinguished himself. There are no other drone lawyers in Australia. He is the only one. In fact, he's the one that wrote the book on it as well too. So can you see how positioning yourself like this here means that you don't actually have to do a lot of push marketing out there. People are attracted to you and to your organisation. Is that starting to make sense? Yep. Here's another quick example as well. SMSF accountant. How many accountants are out there? In fact, I know we've got some on the call today. What distinguishes one accountant from another? Oh, this is not one of those jokes. So there are lots and lots of accountants out there. They all do pretty much the same job. Some of them will specialise in maybe sort of commercial accounting. There's lots and lots of commercial accountants out there. But I know of two. There are two accountants that have really sort of niched down to SMSF accounting work. So that's self-managed super fund accounting work. They don't work for the general public. They don't get any work in from the likes of you and I. They only work for other accountants. So because self-managed super funds are a specific area of legislation, and the compliance on there is really quite stringent, all the other general accountants there even though they could do the work, there's a lot of reading and research they've got to do to bring themselves up to speed. Now, probably not even 100% up to speed with the legislation. SMSF lawyers, because they deal with nothing else but self-managed super funds, they know the law inside out. They're not having to learn a whole lot of other laws. When the laws do change, they're across it. And their clients are the accountants, and those accountants have got their general public clients. They do the work for the accountants to audit these books and to make sure that they are compliant. Great thing about it is they don't have to, both of these people don't have to hunt for business. These accountants send them business because it saves them money, it saves them time, and the SMSF accountants are not having to do a whole lot of marketing, aside from the initial marketing when they first started, and they were marketing to other accountants. So they already had a pool of colleagues that they're marketing to. Very defined range of people, only dealing with accountants. So so both of those accountants, they're doing pretty well. Those accountants, they're never short of customers, and they don't have to deal with the end client. They're only dealing with the middle client, which is the accountants themselves. So here's the benefits with that there. If you're only dealing with a narrow area, your expertise grows. So think about your industry and everything that is in your industry that you could know. Well, you're not going to get to know it all anyway. So if you're only dealing with one specific thing, then your expertise grows in that particular area. I know that when I started in web development, I worked only on WordPress websites, not Wix, not Weebly, nothing else, only WordPress. And I have to say, I did help people out with Wix and Squarespace occasionally. Regretted it, because what I had to do is I had to go and Google, how does this actually work? How does this system actually work? So I wasted a whole lot of time working out how does this system work, when I should have just referred it through to someone else that was a specialist in that area there. But WordPress, all over that. You Google something once, and then you generally remember it, or you remember where to go to get that information. So I had places that I knew I could go to get information. But again, you could, even within that ecosystem there, you can specialize even further. So there are tools inside, say, the WordPress ecosystem that you can specialize in only using those tools. So there are a range of what they call page builders out there. So like Elementor, Beaver Builder. So they're ones to help, sort of build your design. So so there are people there that only focus in on one particular type of tool in that ecosystem. And so what happens to them is that they get work from agencies that are looking for specialists with a particular tool in the WordPress environment, and they don't have to hunt too hard for the work, because the agencies know, that they're good at this particular tool, and so they get referrals coming through, or clients coming through all the time. So develop a really good narrow specialist sort of knowledge base, become highly skilled. You become very credible when you're able to pinpoint and solve issues really quickly, highly referable. You save a lot of time in that you're not having to relearn things or learn new things, and you just know how these things work now. A bit like the Mercedes dealership, or the Mercedes mechanic, they just know Mercedes. They don't know anything else, they just know Mercedes. You can charge more. You can reduce the competition as well too. So, if people are wanting, a specialist in the area you're dealing with, then your competitors get, generally don't get a look in. So, it's a bit like being a brain surgeon versus a general practitioner. If you want your brain operated on, you're not going to go to the GP. You're going to go to someone that knows what they're doing, because you want to make sure that you come out of this operation alive. Also gives you authority in the area, and easy to attract your ideal clients. So your business. Who here is a specialist in their business? That you've got a particular specialty? Yep, Mark. Yep, yeah, Terence, definitely from what you're talking about. Yep, Cameron. Yeah, no, you are as well. So think about your specialty. Now, you don't have to do this, but this is an exercise as well too. Think about within your business and your specialty as well. What could you narrow down to be sort of even more specialized in your business? So that's an exercise just really to think about. You may or may not want to do it, but what could you do that would really sort of narrow down on one particular defined field? And then who are the people that want that? What about we only deal with industrial plants? Yep. Perfect. Yeah, WordPress is broad, 100%. So it didn't always used to be like that, but you've got specialties within that specialty now. So that's what I'm looking at for you now. Thinking about what's the specialty inside your specialty, and that's really where the money is. Yeah, AI integrations. Yeah, sorry, API integrations. And again, so that's a fairly broad field as well. That's a specialist field, but then you can specialize to one particular type or maybe a segment of API integrations as well too. There is a danger there. You can narrow down too far that you've got one customer and not many customers, but somewhere in there is your sweet spot. So have a think about that for your business. And the next thing is what makes you stand out and what makes you unique from your other competitors. So let's say API integrations. There's quite a few people out there that do deal with API integrations. What makes you specifically unique about what you do? So and that's often a hard thing as well too. Quality assurance and process applications to all SMEs. Yep, that's definitely you. Other quality assurance places out there, but what makes you unique is how do you bundle that up with what you're actually doing as well that no one else is doing. Most people can't spell process, particularly in them. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So your uniqueness is not being an accountant. That is not unique. It's not being an accountant for home-based businesses. That is unique, but it's you're looking at a demographic of people rather than problem. So you want to think about what's the specific problem you're dealing with. You don't want to narrow down to a group of people. That's still too broad, but you want to narrow it down to a particular problem that you solve. So the problem that you might solve if you're an accountant dealing with small business, you might be dealing with an accountant that deals with small businesses on their asset protection structure, so of trusts and companies. So there is an accountant that specialized just in that there. And he is now a sought after accountant. He doesn't do any tax work, no compliance work. All he does is set up trusts and companies and sets them up for asset protection structures. He is a specialist in that. Accountants go to him for that because he found that people that are in their second, third, and fourth relationships, this all of a sudden becomes really important. So his client base, he knows exactly who his clients are. They're the ones that have gone through divorce and they're setting up in business again. And so he's got a very narrow niche, and often they're the ones that are getting married again and getting into relationship again. So again, very defined niche. These people seek him out now. He gets referrals from other accountants as well. So think about your business. What makes you unique in terms of what you do that no one else does? And often the answer is thinking about what is it you do that you can combine with other things. Now, this is an example that you've probably seen before, and now it's not quite so unique. So generally, you used to take your car in for a service. You can make it unique by just dealing with, say, one type of car or one group of cars, European cars, but take it in for a service. Then what some mechanics did or auto shops did is that they returned your car washed and cleaned. So that was an extra thing that they did. What did it cost them? Not very much. It just cost them the cost of having a school person after school to come in and vacuum the cars and give them wash. Was it the best wash in the world? No, it wasn't the best wash, but the fact that it came back clean and washed was a real bonus. So that was a unique selling proposition. That was really unique for them in their business. And then you know, a lot of auto places do it now. What's the next thing you did? Drop offs and pickups. What's the biggest pain when you know, with your car? You got to drive it there, and then you got to find your way to work. So so actually having someone drop off, you know, sort of either pick up the car or drop you to work and pick you up when the car's ready. So that's another service that they added in, and then also wheel balancing. So wheel alignment and wheel balancing. So again, how much does it cost them? Not much to do it. They're already got the vehicle on a hoist. You know, it takes another 10 or 15 minutes to do a wheel balance and an alignment. So all of those things together, you know, you think, well, these are things that maybe you already do, or some of them you do, but if you combine them together, that gives you a unique position over everybody else in the market. So again, what are things that you can do that are of low value, sort of high value, low cost to you, that adds a whole lot of value to people with your business that you could start to bundle together to make you unique. So that's a really simple example. And you can often use it with things like, let's say in my industry, in digital marketing, you know, so web development's a skill, SEO is a skill, Google Ads is a skill, you know, CRM management and setup is a skill, but you know, a unique combination of all of those together that helps a business to generate qualified leads without having to spend a ton of money on advertising. All of a sudden, you've got what looks like an ecosystem or a blueprint product there that you can now sort of mix together, and you can sell the whole product. So that might consist of 5 or 6 different services. So think about the services you're offering that you can sort of bundle in together. So in order to get a blueprint for yourself, so having a blueprint is really easy. If you've got a process you can take people through, I think Mark sort of talked about having sort of you know, processes or quality assurance and processes. If you've got a process to run through, and you can tell people what the process is and say, this is where we're going to start at this stage here. The second part is we're going to do this. This is the third part. This is the fourth part. And at the end, we're going to deliver you this. And the result's going to be, or the outcome's going to be that you're going to get, you know, this particular outcome. You're going to make this much money. You are going to have a car that runs on the road and is safe. So think about what you're doing in process. How can you explain it as a process? That's the goal, but that's the really difficult thing. So the best way to do that is to you already know your, you know, if you've got clients already, just work out, make a list of all the pain, issues, problems, and whatever they have that they come to you to solve. Just get a piece of paper out or a notepad on your computer, make a list of them. You're not going to be able to do it all at once. Keep it open. Just keep adding to that list. In there, you will start to see some common traits in terms of the pains and problems that people come to you for the solutions and products and services that you offer. That's the first thing you do. The other list that you make is a list of everything that you do now. So all the products and services that you do, but break that list down into its components. So, you know, what are all the things that you do in the components of all that? So real estate agent, they sell properties. They list properties, but what are all the components in it? They do market appraisals. They will compare your properties against other properties that have sold, recent sales. They'll do a valuation. They may be sort of an expert in tendering. So they may have a database of clients there that is more than anybody else. So what are all the things that you do that make up that service that you've got there? Make a list of it all, and you may assume that people know what it is you do. Don't assume that. List it all out. You'll be surprised when people sort of say to you, I didn't know you did that. They say that to me all the time. I just think they know, but all the time, I didn't know you do that. And so that's the first thing you do. And then you match up and you have a look at the list of everything you do, all the pains and problems that clients got, and think about how do those two match together? So it's a bit like having two lists there and you draw lines from one to the other. How does what you do start to make up a system or process that makes what you do quite unique. So the key, and what you want to do is to find a single, like, it's almost like a single problem. It's not going to be a singular problem, but you're a single major problem that you're dealing with. Find the people it's affecting and creating something that's unique and having a unique offer that's different to everybody else in the marketplace that really differentiates yourself from all the others. So don't go chasing all the clients out there. You don't want them all. You only want a small group of them, and they're the ones that all have the same problem that you solve. And so just thinking of Terence, when you're talking about your solution that you had there, you are definitely not for everybody. But there'll be a sort of certain segment of clients and that you'll be able to identify really sort of quite quickly if you know what their pains and issues and problems are with other mediums that they're using. The solution you've got is going to sort of cut through all that as well. So that's really what you're looking for. So with all of that, we've really only dealt with maybe first, second part. You need to develop a story around what it is that you do. So your story is, why you do what you do, what's unique about you, and more importantly, what's unique about the clients that you're working with. I only work with people that own Mercedes. That is really quite unique. You can do all sorts of things with that. What was that? There's a bookkeeper that I met, and their bookkeeping firm has a podcast. All of their clients when they surveyed them, they said, "What's your biggest issue, your biggest problem in business?" They said, "Marketing." So they set up this podcast to deal with that issue now, and they go and interview all of their clients that want to be interviewed on the podcast. They give them the podcast. They publish the podcast. They push it out onto social media so that their clients and customers start to get customers coming to them. This bookkeeping firm said, we have other people that approach us about wanting to be on our podcast. They said, yeah, no problem at all. You can be on our podcast when you become a customer of ours. So their point of difference is that to be on the podcast, you have to be a customer of ours. Is that a point of difference? Does it make them unique? Absolutely does as well too. And if people want it enough, they're going to become a customer. Their bookkeeping, is it any different or any special compared to others? No, it's probably about the same. But what is unique is that they're able to help their clients generate leads, clients, and customers through this marketing vehicle that they've got. So there's another unique take on as well. They've made themselves unique. I don't know of any other bookkeeping firm out there that has a podcast that promotes their clients. There's probably someone's going to come rip them off and do that, but for now they're unique about it. So that's their story. So create your story. What's your story around it? We're the bookkeepers that have a podcast. We help our clients to generate leads and sales. That's their story. And deal with that pain point. What's the blueprint? Your blueprint is your system or process. So when you become a customer of ours, they've got their standard sort of forms and whatever to fill out. And the next part of the process is that we prep you for interviewing you on our podcast. Podcast gets released 4 months after you're a customer of ours, whatever it happens to be. And then so, this is the blueprint. We've got a 5-step blueprint with this. And so when you sit down with your prospects, you can take them through that blueprint. And so these are the steps that we follow. At the end of it, this is what you can expect. Now, people like to be guided. They don't like mystery in business. They're looking for certainty and for guidance. Having a blueprint there, and I'm suggesting a written blueprint on a document that you can take them through with a pen and paper, and you can write on it as well and give it to them. Having a blueprint to write on so they can take away. And then once you've got your story in that blueprint there, now it becomes really easy to do your marketing and messaging. So so you start to tell that sort of story out there in your marketing. Very quickly you'll find that people will start to be attracted to you, and you will start to get customers or prospective customers coming to you. You end up not selling you end up with people buying from you. And there's a real difference with that. You know, when you have people say to you, and my favorite thing is when people say to me, so what do I need to do to get started? That there is a much better conversation than you saying to them, let's get started. And they say, no, I've got to go and talk to my wife or my husband, or I've got to get my money together. When they start to ask you, how do I get started? That's what you're looking for with a system like this here. So, and it makes it sort of so much easier. And you end up like Renee, the real estate agent, who looks like he's got a life of luxury and doesn't do anything, but he's making more money than most of the real estate agents out there. He was one of the biggest earners in his office, dealing with the just one single type of property, and he really didn't do a whole lot of work. In fact, a lot of his work was long lunches and enjoying himself. So we've dealt with story, we've touched on blueprint, and haven't touched on the messaging at all. Most traditional marketing starts with the messaging. That's where it's upside down. They do the wrong thing. They get on social media, they pay for ads, and they try and drive people to their business to make sales, and then they reveal what their processes and blueprints are. This is the other way around, where you give people your story, you show them what you do, you show them what the blueprint is, what the expectations are. That becomes part of your messaging. That's what attracts people in. That makes sense? Yeah. So, any questions at all? Questions or comments? Feel free to unmute. Yep, Mark.
If I could unmute,
Yeah.
just in support of what you're saying, Nick. So every example that you've used there, and I hope that Paul and Gordon and yourself don't mind, but everyone that you've mentioned there has a process, and they follow the process. So I have the benefit and the sometimes anchor of being trained in ISO 9001, 2008. My mentor trained me in that 25 years ago, and every single business on the planet, not just in Australia, if you followed a stringent process like that, just as you're suggesting, and you become a subject matter expert, it works. There's a process, you follow it, it works. People will then seek you out as that expert, as opposed to, oh, I'll just, there's so much forced marketing that goes on today where people have got you into bed, got your clothes off before they've even spoken to you. It's appalling. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I literally just block all those people straight away now. It's so frustrating and annoying. So I just ask people, do you know what I do? Oh, no, goodbye. You haven't even bothered to look at my profile. You just a tweet. So it's, as you said, get your messaging right, deliver it to people, have a strong process in place, and then shut up. Actually listen. Listen to what people want. Don't just try and force it down their throat. Actually listen. That's a big key to it.
And 100% right. And I think what we're not taught in business, well, most people are not taught in business, is process. Or if they're taught process, they're not taught the other stuff about what is my business, what are the issues and pains and problems that I'm really solving. They go into business with a product and a service without thinking about what's the actual problem that we're dealing with here, and how do I become a subject expert in this particular area here. All right. Yep. Excellent. Any other comments, questions? Helpful, not helpful, otherwise? Is everybody just reading emails?
Perhaps you could just teach that to the Prime Minister, Nick, and the place would be a much better place.
Yes, there needs some process there, doesn't it, eh?
Big time. It doesn't matter what the party is, they need process.
Yep, and they need to understand what the real pain and issues are.
Correct.
Yeah.
If I could just add to what Mark was saying, I just put in, when you were talking about the that education website, that sort of pricked up my attention, because while I'm doing all of this other development stuff, I'm also working on a workshop, which is a survival guide for normal people now that AI is the new reality.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, because I mean, for some people, they'll find it overwhelming and scary and all of that sort of stuff. So as part of that, instead of me just going, oh, I think this is what people will need, and then just writing up a big program, which was my first instinct, by the way. I'm guilty of that. I'm actually going to go and volunteer, helping seniors, with their tech stuff. There's a volunteer organization on the Gold Coast at Miami. Gold Coast Seniors Online is one of the groups that they serve. So instead of me deciding what I think people need to know, I'll go and spend some time with people first. And I think that will probably be invaluable in informing how I go ahead with it.
That is absolute gold, Terence. You've really sort of nailed it doing that there. And that's what most people don't do enough, is if you go out and do exactly what you're doing there, very quickly you'll understand what people's issues, problems, pains are. You'll get their language that they're talking about as well, which is really important. And then you'll be able to communicate with them. And that's where so many businesses fail, is that they just don't go out and do exactly what you're doing. Go to where the people are and have a conversation with them.
And I really enjoy it
And-
too. So it's not like an
Yeah.
effort or a sacrifice. I mean, it'll be fun.
So it's not what people think about cold calling. It's actually
No.
fun. Yeah.
But you could also survey them while you're there, Terence, and survey them, ask them what their pain points are, what would they pay for those services, and then
Yep.
again, that's them telling you. It's not you trying to shove some idea down their throat.
Yeah, and I could survey them kind of like, without it being sort of formal.
Yeah.
I could just sort of
100%.
privately take notes
Yeah.
from conversations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be great. Good idea.
And a lot more valuable intel, because you get the real stuff. People aren't making stuff up. This is them telling you exactly how it is for them.
Hit the ground.
Mm.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks.
Excellent. Oh, fantastic. Any other comments, feedback? Excellent. Well, if not, hopefully that's has been of use and helpful. I think there are sort of a number of people here are already across some of what I was talking about tonight. If anyone does want to have a conversation, want to find it a wee bit more, does need some help in that sort of area, more than happy for you to reach out, and more than happy to have a conversation to really sort of start to trigger some of those thoughts, and in terms of how you do that. It's a lot easier than you think. And I think, Terence, you've just really exemplified that by sort of, showing us how easy it is just finding a group to go and talk to. And it really is that easy as well too. All right, well, that there is our final session for business owners smashing it online for the year. Thank you for spending it with me. Thank you for being with me for the year. Yes, I'm sorry, Janine, it is the last session. I am going to go and take a holiday. And I was just looking for the date that we're back again. I think we start back on I actually start back at the office on the 13th of January. So it's the Tuesday after that, which will be the 22nd of January. That'll be our first session back again next year. So just leaves me to wish you well for the Christmas and New Year season. Enjoy, and look forward to catching up with you when we're back again. Have a good
Thanks, mate.
a good holiday. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nik Cree, spelled Nikree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.